If I have to be the new Prime Minister and fucking out gay men as paedophiles, then I will do. I don't give a fucking shit. I will do. I'll expose them to the bitter core. Know what I mean? I will expose them to the bitter core. What they did to these children is totally unforgivable. Honestly, guys. The stupid background music is annoying, but you just have to ignore that.
Their two adopted sons, ages 7 and 9, were bright-eyed boys who sold lemonade in the summer and left handwritten thank you notes for their teachers. At Oak Grove Baptist Church, the couple were fixtures. William sang in the choir, Zachary taught Sunday school, and their boys clutched hymnals with earnest concentration. They were the family you'd point to and say, "Why can't everyone be like them?" recalled Martha Ellison, a neighbor whose grandchildren played with the Zulak kids. Behind closed doors, however, the Zulaks curated their image with chilling precision. Their social media posts, meticulously staged snapshots of pumpkin carving, beach trips, and bedtime stories, were a master class in deception. Investigators later found spreadsheets tracking their public appearances, noting which events would yield the most sympathetic optics. Even their home's decor was...
Bit like Regan then. Regan and his boyfriend. Yeah, you heard, you fucking two pair of faggots on YouTube. You must rape and abuse your children. I don't give a shit what anyone fucking says. If these gay couples are doing it, Regan, the ex-rugby player, is obviously doing it, and his boyfriend is doing it. I don't give a shit. I will expose these people to the fucking core. I don't care. It's about time God comes back, and I'm going to make God come back sooner than you fucking think it. You know what I mean? This is disgusting, and I'm going to do everything that I can, possibly Michelle here, to protect children from gay men. I really am. I'm going to do everything that I can to get the word out there to protect children, because the UK has clearly not done enough. Here we go, guys.
Noting which events would yield the most sympathetic optics. Even their home's decor was weaponized. Family photos lined the staircase. But forensic analysts discovered the frame's backing hid USB drives. The boys' bedroom, though strewn with Legos and superhero posters, concealed cameras inside stuffed animals.
Cameras?
Their lenses peering through button eyes.
Wow.
The first fissure in their facade appeared in mundane fashion, a discrepancy in their adoption paperwork. The Zulaks had obtained both children through a private agency, New Beginnings Family Services, which specialized in fast-tracked placements.
Wow.
Though the process typically took years, their file showed the boys were placed within 11 months.
Wow.
A red flag later linked to the agency's director, who was indicted for bribery in 2023. Caseworkers had noted the couple's exceptional preparedness, including a detailed parenting plan and letters of reference from pastors. Yet one overlooked detail gnawed at Detective Sarah Wilkins.
Devils in disguise. That's what gay men are. Devils in disguise, guys. They really are. Devils in disguise.
During her initial review, the boys' medical records showed frequent visits to a pediatrician outside their insurance network. A Dr. Melissa Hargrove, whose license was later revoked for overprescribing sedatives. The Zulak's veneer began to crack further.
Wow.
When Wilkins dug in.
Wow. A female that was involved also prescribing sedatives to the children. Oh yeah, so they could just sit back and rape the kids. Wow. This really is getting me angry. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, guys. I say fuck gay rights altogether, and I'm so glad I came away from that fucking army years ago. Just think all the children now that are being abused by gay people behind closed doors right now. Behind picturesque houses that are just disguised to look nice in the fucking neighbourhood. Do you know what I mean? I would never have children because I respect children, and I believe that a mother and a father is a figure that should be brought up with children. Do you know what I mean? Not two men. This is making me sick and very, very angry. I hope these couple get murdered in prison. I really hope they do, for what they did.
When Wilkins dug into their past, Williams' 2008 arrest for public indecency, dismissed after the accuser recanted, resurfaced alongside whispers from his hometown about a secret settlement. Zachary's resume gap in 2019 coincided with a mysterious hospitalization in Alabama, though records were sealed. Most alarming were the financials. Despite modest incomes, they'd paid cash for a $25,000 swimming pool and taken multiple international trips.
Wow.
A forensic accountant traced wire transfers to an offshore account, flagged years earlier for suspicious activity.
Wow.
But no one had connected the dots. By the time Wilkins...
So basically, not only just pulling wool over the government's eyes and getting exactly what they want from a rich, luxurious lifestyle. That's how LGBT people live, by the way. Fraud and deception springs to mind. Yeah, a lot of gay people do it. Devils in disguise, pulling the wool over people's faces. And it's exactly what this absolute bastard monstrosity of a couple did. They looked like fucking butter wouldn't melt. You know what I mean? This makes me so angry. So angry. Do you know what I mean? I would only beat up and attack gay men that have got children. I would not attack anybody else that's gay. I would actively now, after seeing this documentary and knowing what this gay couple did to these children, I would actively go after gay couples like these two that have got children. Because that's just disgusting if you think about what they've done to their children behind closed doors and got away with it for so many years until they were found out.
Received the anonymous tip that October, the Zulaks were already under a shadow. The email's attached screenshot, a fragment of a text exchange, used coded language like inventory and delivery. But the detective's stomach dropped at one phrase. The merchandise will be ready Friday.
Wow.
The timestamp matched the family's recent weekend in Panama City Beach, memorialized in Instagram photos of the boys building sandcastles. Wilkins knew then that the idyllic home on Meadowview Drive was a stage set, and the curtain was about to fall.
Oh, lovely.
The anonymous email arrived in the Walton County Sheriff's tip line inbox at 3:17 a.m. on October 4th, 2022. A timestamp that later struck investigators as deliberate. Pre-dawn submissions were rare, and this one bore no IP trail, routed through a VPN and an offshore server before vanishing into the digital ether. Detective Sarah Wilkins, the night shift officer who first...
So basically, they lived in a quiet suburban home. Looked like, basically, butter wouldn't melt to somebody else that's walking past their house. But what happened behind those closed doors was petrified children that were petrified of these monsters, that raped them, that put cameras in their teddy bears. 2 children that are expected to be looked after and cared for by a mother and a father figure clearly failed here. We had 2 monsters that reached out and got 2 children fast-tracked from adoption. Yeah. I don't think these 2 in prison would last very long. Absolutely disgusting. And if Regan and that fucking batty boy is watching this video, you gay couple that are on YouTube, and you do this to your children, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. I don't think they do, but all I'm saying is you better watch your back, Regan, mate. Ex-rugby player or fucking whatever you are. I know you come up to Scotland a lot, so I'll be watching you. I don't give a fucking shit. I'll be watching you very carefully. I don't care if a straight man has recently come out of a relationship from a woman, but that's alarm bells. That's red flags. Forcing children into a gay relationship is disgusting. And I believe everything what Trump has done so far in America is definitely right.
Ether. Detective Sarah Wilkins, the night shift officer who first opened it, nearly dismissed it as spam. The subject line read simply, "Check the attached. Hurry." The message itself was just 3 lines. "They're not who you think. The kids aren't safe. Look deeper." Attached was a single, grainy screenshot, a fragment of a text conversation between 2 contacts labeled DU and Z.
Wow.
The exchange was cryptic but unmistakably sinister. What made Wilkins' blood run cold wasn't just the language, it was the context. The screenshot's metadata placed the conversation on September 30th, the same day the Zulocks had posted Instagram photos of their sons grinning on a Panama City beach boardwalk, captioned, "Family Time." The disconnect between the cheerful facade and the shadowy exchange was jarring. Wilkins immediately escalated the tip to her supervisor, Lieutenant Dan Harris, a 20-year veteran who had worked human trafficking cases along the I-20 corridor. Harris recognized the lingo. Inventory, merchandise, buyers. Phrases often used in exploitation rings. By sunrise, a quiet investigation was underway. Forensic techs pulled the Zulocks' known devices: 2 iPhones, a MacBook, and an iPad registered to their home Wi-Fi.
Wow.
But the real break came when they subpoenaed their cloud backups. Hidden in Williams' iCloud was a secondary account, EQWZ Consulting 22, accessed only through a burner phone not listed in their home inventory.
A burner phone.
The account contained deleted texts matching the screenshot's phrasing, and worse, auto-synced photos that hadn't yet been purged. Most alarming was their adoption history. The boys, biological brothers, had been placed with the Zulocks through New Beginnings Family Services, an agency later shut down for falsifying home studies. The caseworker who approved them, Linda Fisher, had rubber-stamped 5 other adoptions under investigation. By October 10th, Wilkins had enough for a warrant, but Harris urged caution. "If they're networked, we need to identify the buyers," he warned. Then, at 11:03 p.m. on October 11th, the burner phone pinged again. Wilkins didn't wait. At 3 a.m., she signed the affidavit for a no-knock raid. SWAT was mobilized. The operation was set for dawn. At 5:47 a.m. on October 12th, 8 members of the Walton County SWAT team moved into position around the Zulock residence.
Good.
The neighborhood was still asleep, the only sound the distant hum of a garbage truck. Body cameras flickered on as Lieutenant Harris gave the final nod. The team breached the front door with a hydraulic ram, shouting, "Police! Search warrant!" The home smelled of lavender and fresh laundry. A half-empty coffee cup sat on the kitchen counter beside 2 neatly packed lunchboxes. Certificate for one of the boys hung on the fridge. To the untrained eye, it was just another suburban morning. But the officers had been briefed on what to look for, and the anomalies surfaced fast. In the Zulocks' bedroom, 3 cell phones lay charging, 2 personal devices, and a third, a cheap prepaid burner.
Wow.
Detective Wilkins bagged it just as it buzzed with an incoming encrypted message. The nightstands held no books, no medications, just a small black notebook with pages of initials and dollar amounts. JB, $5,000. RT, $8,000.
Let's wait for some minute.
Then, in the walk-in closet, Officer Mark Reynolds noticed something off. The back wall was slightly recessed.
Did you hear that? $8,000, $5,000. Poor families out there with children that are homeless will pull their right fucking arm off for that. But what do we have? We have 2 faggots here in society that have pulled the wool over people's eyes in society through cryptic messages and clearly abused their job position as well to get what they want in life. Isn't that disgusting? These 2 are the devil in disguise.
A gentle push revealed a false panel. Behind it, a fireproof safe. When cracked open, it contained $28,450 in
Wow.
mixed bills.
Wow.
A USB drive labeled Kakant X. Xmas 2021. A key fob for a storage unit, later traced to a facility near the interstate. The boys' bedroom looked like any other kid's space. Legos scattered on the carpet, superhero posters on the walls. But SWAT medic Carla Diaz froze when she checked the younger boy's bed. The safety rails weren't for preventing falls. They were leather restraints, expertly fitted to the frame, their buckles worn from use. Under the bed, a stuffed dinosaur's left eye was a tiny camera lens.
Oh my God.
Digital forensics specialist Mark Reynolds sat up at the kitchen table with William's MacBook.
That is
He
disgusting.
expected encryption, but the device unlocked with a
How were these monsters allowed to go near children in the first place?
fingerprint scan when they roused William from bed. The desktop was cluttered with work files, vacation photos, and school documents. Then Reynolds spotted a folder named Tax Backup. Password protected. He ran a bypass tool. Inside, 47 subfolders. The first one he clicked. Client meetings, held video files. The thumbnail preview showed a time-stamped clip labeled B-Day Party, June 12th, 2022. Reynolds hit play. 5 seconds in, he ejected the drive. "We need a hazmat team for this," he told Wilkins, pale. "Not just cops, FBI, now." By noon on raid day, the Zulak house was a federal crime scene. FBI cybercrimes analyst Daniel Cho arrived from Atlanta, gloved hands hovering over William's laptop. The Baydord tax backup folder wasn't just hidden. It was a meticulously organized archive of depravity. Cho mapped the structure. Q3 reports. Videos, each titled with city names. OrlandoConference.move. But showing hotel rooms with children. Client contacts. A spreadsheet linking emails to Bitcoin addresses with VIP tags next to certain names. Family archive. Hundreds of photos, seemingly normal until metadata revealed covert angles. A birthday cake shot? Camera was inside the refrigerator. Most disturbing was the raging special...
A camera was inside the refrigerator. But look at what they're doing at Tesco. Camera inside a fucking refrigerator, bruv. We're living in a very dark time at this moment in time, guys. We really are. Do you know what I mean? Disgusting. If I see a fucking camera in the fridge at Tesco, I'm ripping it out. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. My personal safety, my privacy is more important than the fucking camera in the fridge. Disgusting.
Was the raging special events subfolder. Videos of what appeared to be backyard barbecues or pool parties, but with chilling details. Adults lingering near the kids, hands just out of frame. The Zulaks strategically redirecting other parents' attention. One clip showed Zachary handing out Sleepy Lemonade before guests left. Cho traced uploads to
Sleepy
a private
Lemonade
server hosted in Estonia. Subscriber logs included IPs from 12 countries, some linked to prior Interpol trafficking.
Did you hear that, guys?
Payments flowed through
Sleepy
a maze of
Lemonade.
shell companies, but one pattern emerged. Deposits spiked after holidays. They were using Easter egg hunts and Christmas parties as cover.
Sleepy
Cho noted.
Lemonade.
Back at the house, investigators dismantled the boy's Xbox. Inside, a micro SD card taped to the motherboard contained encrypted files. The decryption key? A sequence of controller buttons. Up, down, A, X. A code the older boy later admitted, "Daddy made me practice." The final horror came from Melissa Hargrove's testimony. The pediatric nurse, arrested 2 days later, confessed she'd prescribed the boys sedatives for travel anxiety.
Bullshit.
Pharmacy records showed double doses before every funny family trip. Child psychologist Dr. Evelyn Carter's evaluation of the Zulauk boys filled 89 pages. The older child, then 9, spoke in whispers, his sentences trailing off. The younger, 7.
So they basically fed their children sedatives before going on holiday and then raped them. Lovely. Absolutely fucking lovely. Daddy made me practice. These guys don't deserve to be alive. I really hope they get fucking shot in prison. Because what these did, these evil monsters, they do not deserve to get away with it. Honestly, guys. Thumbs up for this video.
Hid under tables during sessions. The older brother drew stick figures with scribbled out faces, called nightmares. The movie nights. When asked about his daddies, he covered his ears and hummed. The younger brother wouldn't eat unless food was sealed in front of him.
Wow.
Tore his own hair out in clumps. Told Dr. Carter, "I don't want to be merchandise anymore." Their biological grandmother, tracked down in Kentucky, wept holding their baby photos. "I thought adoption would save them," she said. "Not this." The Zulauk case exploded from a local investigation into a multi-state operation as forensic accountants and cybercrime experts began untangling the web of connections radiating from that quiet Walton County home. What initially appeared to be an isolated case of child abuse soon revealed itself as a sophisticated trafficking operation with tentacles stretching across state lines and international borders. The ledger found in the Zulauk's safe became the Rosetta Stone for investigators. Each cryptic entry represented a node in their network. Code names and payments. Entries like JB0822 to $8,000 and RT0922 to $12,000 correlated with deposits in offshore accounts. Location tags. Abbreviations matching hotels near major airports. ATL, MCO, DFW. Dates aligned with conventions, sports tournaments, and church retreats. FBI agent Daniel Cho discovered the operation functioned like a twisted franchise system.
Wow.
The Zulauks served as home base, grooming and preparing victims, while their network handled distribution and sales. Their most frequent contacts included Melissa Hargrove, the pediatric nurse who provided sedatives and falsified medical records.
Wow.
Pastor Ryan Tisdale, a youth minister who arranged overnight retreats. Gregory Baum, a private adoption attorney who sourced children. Uncle Dave, an IT specialist who managed their dark web presence. The money trail revealed shocking sophistication. Payments flowed through. Bitcoin wallets converted to Monero. Shell companies registered in Delaware.
Wow.
A fake children's charity that actually received tax exemptions. Most chilling was the inventory management system. Each child in their network had a barcode tattoo, temporary, a digital profile with measurements and special skills, a schedule of appearances at seemingly legitimate events.
Wow.
When investigators raided Hargrove's clinic, they found a hidden partition on her work computer containing encrypted medical files for 17 children, none of them her actual patients. Pastor Tisdale's church basement concealed a soundproofed prayer room with recording equipment. The scale of the operation became clear when Homeland Security discovered outgoing shipments disguised as humanitarian aid packages. The simultaneous raids on November 1st, 2022, codenamed Operation Broken Home, netted 14 arrests across 3 states.
Wow.
Body cam footage from the Zulauk's arrest shows William calmly requesting his lawyer, while Zachary alternated between rage and...
So not only did they have things in place to rape their children and to contact other people to give them drugs to sedate their children whilst they're raping them. Sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah. They had a network of millions and empires and drug dealers and whoever else it was. This is why you do not turn to the life of sin, guys, because you'll end up in jail. You will. Yeah, you will.
Calmly requesting his lawyer, while Zachary alternated between rage and catatonia. William's interrogation. Maintained eerie composure. Referred to the children as our special projects. Asked detectives, who's going to pay their tuition now? Made veiled references to powerful friends in Zachary's interrogation. He screamed about being the real victim, claimed they saved the boys from worse, demanded to know who betrayed them, collapsed when shown video evidence. The other suspects proved equally disturbing. Melissa Hargrove initially played the confused